All right, guys. I am here with Coach Brooke today. We thought we would give Levi a little bit of time to work on like his actual job. And so she's going to help me with this week's videos. So this is Monday's WOD. We are going to start with a Tabata warm-up. Surprise! So the first thing we have are air squats. So step back so we can see you completely. There you go. All right, for air squats, Brooke is going to step into her squat stance, which is feet right outside hip width. She's going to keep her chest nice and big, initiating with the hips, driving all the way down past parallel and back up.
Did you hear my ankles?
I did. That was awful. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, guys.
Turn sideways so they can see your depth. All the way, driving up through the heels to the top of that movement. And she's very young, but very creaky. All right, next we have sit-ups. So bring that mat back here.
You want to face this way or forward? Or?
Yeah, sideways I think gives a better angle. All right, she's gonna go all the way back. Shoulders touching the mat, and then up and through, making sure her shoulders pass that hip crease. Butterflying her legs the entire time. And then we have push-ups. There we go. So for push-ups, we have decided to kind of change up the way we scale our push-ups. So still, you can snake up, but when you snake up, what that does is it doesn't develop any of that core strength that you need in the push-up. So we would like to recommend now that you alternate back and forth. In today's WOD, you want to do, I don't even think, oh we do, we have push-ups in the core WOD. In the warm-up, if you want to work on core strength, instead you can do the knee push-ups, and they're going to look like this. So on your knees, you're going to keep your core nice and tight and just break at the elbows and bringing your shoulders all the way to the ground and back up. That holds your core tight. Now, you can still snake up, which will look like this. Starting, no, not on your knees. Starting in that plank position, going all the way, hips to the ground, okay, and then shoulders and then hips up. And then you can also snake down where hips go down first and then back down. That does not develop a lot of core, but that does help with that shoulder strength. So you choose how you want to alternate those. And then strict push-ups. We're going to start in that plank position, going all the way to the ground, and then all the way back up, shoulders and hips rising at the same time. And then beloved burpees. So for a scaled version of the burpee, she's going to step back into that burpee all the way down and then step all the way forward and then still out overhead with that jump. For a strict burpee, you're going to plop yourself down, feet going back at the same time, chest and thighs touching, and then both feet up at the same time out overhead. Perfect. All right, so that's the Tabata warm-up. We have a focused warm-up for this WOD. You will be doing 10 bent over toe touches, which will look like this. Her opposite hand goes to the opposite foot. The hand that is going down, that same foot goes back. This is a balance thing. And it will also really stretch those hamstrings. Next, we have deadlift. So Brooke is going to show us how to do deadlift with a kettlebell and with a dumbbell. Do you want to first walk us through it, or do you want me to walk?
I can walk us through it. Okay. All right. So with the kettlebell, I'm going to come outside. We're going to be able to use both of our hands. So I'm going to go down into that deadlift position. So I make sure I initiate back with my hips, slide bend in the knee, and then I'm going to kind of push my elbows forward to make sure that my back is nice and tight, straight back, core tight, pressing all the way up through my heels, going back down, touching, pressing all the way back up, standing straight up. Yeah. Okay, with the dumbbell, one arm dumbbell deadlift, same thing. You can have your feet underneath your hips and you can do it out to the side and then standing all the way up, initiating back with the hips, slight bend in the knee, and then standing all the way up. Or you can also touch in the middle, in between your feet, whatever is most comfortable. And then switch, either out to the side or back in the middle. Making sure our back is nice and straight and that our core is tight.
So some faults that we don't want to see or have you doing at home is rounding your back. So which would look like this. Notice how her shoulders are forward and her back is rounded. We don't want that. Or squatting too low into your deadlift. There we go. We don't want to see that squat either. Okay. Next, we have front squat. So now we do want to see the squat. So Brooke is going to go through what front squats are going to look like.
Okay. Should I start with the band?
Yeah.
Okay. In our front squat with the band, we're going to put both feet, the band right in the middle, into our squat position. We're going to put the band up in the front rack position, elbows nice and high. It's across my shoulder girdle, and then I'm going to go down into my squat, initiating back with the hips, knees out, standing all the way up. And my core is tight, chest is up. To the side down. It's weird, like not facing the camera. Okay, so that's with the band. Man, this is harder than I thought. Okay, with the dumbbell. For me, I like to have my elbow out to the side just a little bit, so not directly out in front, because it puts a weird torque on my shoulder. So I put it out to the side a little bit. In the same stance, initiating back with my hips, coming all the way down, standing all the way back up. My chest does not come forward, and I can use my other hand for balance. Other side. Or I can do with two hands in the front rack position. And the kettlebell. So I'm going to clean it up, making sure when I pick it up that I'm not going to round my back, because that's how we can hurt ourselves. So still staying in that clean position, getting it up into that front rack position, stepping out into my squat stance, going down, coming back up.
If you do not have your air squat really dialed in, and you are not going past parallel in your air squat, then you will not be adding weight for a front squat. You will continue with working on air squats during this time. Some faults that we see in the front squat big time is going onto your toes and chest going forward, which would look like this, and we don't want to see that. All right, next we have strict press. So Brooke is now going to go through all of those again.
Okay.
She's getting her workout today.
Yeah, for real.
This is only one.
I'm getting warm now. It's good. Okay. So getting the band out in that front rack position. This time, instead of my elbows being really high, I'm just going to have them right out in front. And I'm going to move my head out of the way just like there was a barbell. And I'm going to press all the way out overhead and slowly bring it back down.
I'm so impressed.
Really?
Uh-huh. That orange band is hard.
Whew. All right, now with the dumbbell. So feet are under my hips. I'm going to come down, clean it up to my front rack position, and I'm going to strict press it out overhead. And I want to make sure that my arm is staying nice and straight, and that end position, my bicep is close to my ear. So you don't want to round out like this. Just strict up and down. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this kettlebell. I can try. Okay. With the kettlebell.
If
try. Let's see.
We might be having to call Levi Pope up here. I believe in you. Oh, you can do it.
I don't know.
Straight press.
Okay.
Just do that one arm.
So kettlebell, it's right on my shoulder. I'm just gonna.
Oh, she's so
That
strong,
overhead.
y'all. She's so strong. Look at that.
Woo!
All right.
Wow.
So we want to keep these strict because it is the warm up that will really help with strengthening and warming up our shoulders. When we add the dip to it, it takes our shoulders out of it a little bit. So make sure you're doing those strict so there is no dip involved. Okay, so at this point of the focused warm up, you will add more weight if you have that option to add up to your WOD weight. If not, you will continue on with the same weight that you've been using. You will then do 5 deadlifts, and then we've got 5 thrusters. And so Brooke is now going to demo those thrusters.
Okay, yeah. Dumbbell thrusters, I'm going to get it in that front rack position. It's going to be a front squat and then a push press together. So going into that front front squat, driving through the heels, pressing out overhead. Doing these dumbbell thrusters, one thing that I have realized is if I have the dumbbell a little bit more back on my shoulder like this, it seems to feel more comfortable than it would if I had it directly on top of it like this, which I've seen some of us do. So, yeah. Okay, and the kettlebell. Ooh. And that front rack on my shoulder. For y'all who are doing all kettlebell stuff, this is no joke. Dang.
Yay. Okay, you
Wow.
want to do that. And then for the band.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I forgot. So, the band is in between my feet, right in the middle. Stepping out into my squat stance. Getting into that front rack position. Elbows slightly in front. Going into my squat. Driving, pressing out overhead.
Yay! She makes it all look so easy and so beautiful. Okay, so to explain the WOD, this is a fun one. We actually just did it yesterday and really enjoyed it because it pushes. So for both core and one day, it is a 30-minute AMRAP where you will work for 1 whole minute and then you will rest for 1 whole minute. You will alternate. So what this is it's actually an AMRAP, chipper, EO mama. So you will work through different elements, and when your minute is up and it's time to rest, you will stop wherever you are, you will rest for that minute, and then when you start back up, you will pick right back up at where you left off. So for core, you will do 10 push-ups, 10 deadlifts, 10 sit-ups, 10 front squats, and then 10 more push-ups. You will just continue to repeat that over and over and over again. For the 1 day WOD, this is fun. You're gonna do 60 burpees, yay, 50 deadlift, 40 sit-ups, and 30 thrusters. And you will just, once you finish your last thruster, you will pick right back up and start over on burpees. This is a fun one. You will be pushing, so you will be going for 1 minute hard, knowing that you have 1 minute of rest. And where would you say it was the hardest?
The second round of burpees, yeah. Just because you will get to them. Like, you will finish at least 2 rounds of burpees and this 15 minutes of work.
She got into her 3rd round of burpees. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Okay, guys, that's it for this WOD, for Monday's WOD. I hope you guys enjoy it. It really is a good one.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Fun. Aw. I don't know if I'd say it was fun, but